bet you would love to walk into your home and see it tidy. It looks clean, it smells fresh, but instead you're so busy with work and the kids that your home is a mess. There are piles of paper and clothes at the front door. The kitchen counters are cluttered. Your house is just another thing that overwhelms you, and it literally makes everything else harder. Obviously, something needs to change so things do not spiral into arguments with your husband or your kids, and the house doesn't continue to get messier or you completely burn out. That is why we are doing the Clear It Out Challenge in October. We're going to declutter for the whole month, so your home is easier to navigate while you're frantically making dinner before swimming lessons. You can find that book bag and nothing is in the way. It's faster to find things and streamlined so that you can have way more time with your family and tidy peace with a cup of tea. So naturally, we're gonna start in the kitchen.
One of the best ways to get huge results and to declutter more is consistency. Decluttering every day or decluttering with friends, having some form of accountability. And I love to think of myself as sort of an accountability coach of sorts. That's what I do in my programs, my one-on-one, my group coaching. Because when we're like, hey, I'm doing this as part of a challenge or whatever, it helps us to get better results. And that's how you can declutter way more. Now, for me, doing it in the kitchen is funny because I love cooking, but I still am finding a lot of things to declutter, even though I am going to keep a lot of the things that I love to use. Full disclosure, I kept that Vitamix attachment because it actually goes with the set that I'm giving to my son. But I really was shocked at how much stuff I even found in here, and I will show you at the end. But first, I want to go over the rules for how we are going to tackle this. And number one, there are no rules. First of all, you can start anytime you want. I am decluttering every day, every weekday in October. The reason why I am choosing to do it that way is just that I know that life can get busy. I am driving my kids here and there. We're actually having Thanksgiving here in Canada, and it can be a really busy season. It's also, I'm like cleaning up my garden and all the things. So I thought, if I give myself those buffer days on the end, then I will be more likely to be successful. And that's the thing, is we want to set ourselves up for success. So the rules for this Clear It Out challenge is that there are no rules. I want you to do what works best for you. And if you are like me and you choose to only do weekdays, that is an entire 23 days of decluttering, which is going to be so beneficial. Now, I am having fun going in here and finding things that we just don't use. Like there was that protein drink my kids use. I decided I was going to pop up here above the fridge. Now, let me know how often you look through old medications, old supplements for things that have expired. That is one of the things that recently I put in a blog post for getting ready for Christmas, and really anytime, but to look at things that we don't go through on a regular basis. And that is why this felt so good. So just on this very first day, I tackled mostly the upper cupboards and then that one corner. Another rule you might like to do for yourself is to only do a certain amount of time each day. For me, I decided I was only going to do about 15 to 30 minutes. Some days I have done a little bit longer, and it felt really good. And the other thing you'll see in a minute, something that came up that I was like, oh my gosh, I have to just be so firm with myself. I was coming through this and I was finding things that were like, you know how like baking stuff can get a bit of a film? I realized that I needed to wash some of these things, but that was not the priority right now. So it did give me an opportunity to tidy up some spaces like the dishcloths drawer and all of that. But I want to ask you, put in the comments below, are you planning on decluttering for 15 to 30 minutes a day? Are you the type that likes to do that? Or do you like to do huge sessions like on the weekends or every few months or whatever, and just like really do like several long hours? For some people that works well. For me, I don't love that what I like to do for a lot of things is just do little bits here and there. And because I have decluttered my whole house before, this is a maintenance declutter, is what I call it. And that means that I can declutter every weekday for a month and feel like I'm doing like a pretty decent job on my house. If you're really just like doing the bulk of your house right now and you're working around your family or whatever, you may choose to only do 15 minutes a day, which is 90 hours in a year if you were to do that. Now, I'm pointing out that I just replaced most of my plastic cutting boards with wood. I did keep one, I think, plastic cutting board for raw meat, but the rest is wood. And I even have one set aside for fruit so that it doesn't end up tasting like onions or whatever. It feels so good to dive into these areas that I am working on or that get so messy. Now, this is one really, really sore spot, and you are going to see me really realize here just that I need to be ruthless. And I said to myself, if I am going to be decluttering, and this is what I encourage for you, if I'm going to be decluttering a space, if I'm going to take my time, it's like a job worth doing is worth doing well. And I realized that I was keeping far too many containers. And truth be told, when I finished today, I still have 2 drawers, although it is sort of like different things like colanders and whatnot. And my knee was so sore kneeling on the ground, so I had to put a cloth under it. But I realized that I was choosing to keep things that really didn't need to be kept. And in fact, I'm looking at the pizza cutter that is in that drawer as I'm filming this, and I'm thinking, I don't even think my husband likes it or I like it, so I might even see if he wants to declutter it. It's his. I gave it to him for Christmas, so I'll check. But if I'm doing this, I need to be ruthless. And right there, you're going to see in that drawer, there's a container with a lid, a white lid, that right there. And I'm like, ooh. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it. Because when I was working a lot more regular shifts as a nurse, I would take that container to work. But then I realized I still have all of these containers, but I also have a lot of mason jars, which of course I'm not decluttering my mason jars because I do a lot of canning. And then I realized I have enough containers that I don't need to keep those. Like, look at that. I was like, okay, I'm letting them go. And that's the thing is sometimes we keep things and we're like, but I used this so much. I remember, putting like certain meals in it and like soups, and on days when you are nursing and you are dealing with stressed people, maybe it's cold out, it's very like soothing to go and have your soup or whatever. And those, believe it or not, kind of represent that. What I need to recognize though is that I'm not using them now. And I went through this when I was decluttering my closet as well. Let me know if you can relate to this, where we go through a period of time where we're using something so much, or wearing clothes so much. I used to wear, certain sweaters during certain periods of time, or when my kids were littler. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't actually need to keep these things. I'm not wearing them anymore. And it's the same with some things in the kitchen, even something so silly as like soup mugs. And even with this one, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use those springform pans. And even there's another one which has a false bottom there for, I think I also used that for cheesecakes. So I was sort of like, all right, I'm going to sort of put it in a mental penalty box and I will think about that. But if they're not used within the next 6 to 12 months, they are gone. And working through these areas, just going through, doing the thing. And I want you to remember, you might not go through your kitchen as quickly as I am. Keep in mind, I frequently go through the kitchen, but I also have done my house several times. I've done so many big cleans, and it just feels so good to get in there and to get rid of so many of those things. However, there was one thing that I had to declare that I was a little sad about. Now, we foster kittens in the summer, and then the rest of the year we don't. It just doesn't work for us time-wise and busy family-wise. And there's Crumpet. He loves, loves, loves the kittens. And it was time for them to go. And they went in their crate and we sent them off to be adopted by some absolutely lovely families. It's a bit sad, but it's also good. That being said, on this third day, I was thrilled to get to clean this bathroom. Now, of course, when we have kittens, I do clean it, but we can't use it that often because these particular kittens would run out all of the time and they had so much fun, but we weren't able to use our bathroom that much. And of course, like they just get a little bit messy. So I felt just absolutely incredible doing this. It felt so good just to get in there and do a really, really deep clean. And then I, of course, got into a bit of decluttering later. One thing I do want to mention first, though, is that one of the things that we realize is like the reason why decluttering is so important, maintaining the stuff in our home, getting rid of the excess, it makes living easier. If you're busy and you work out of the home, if you've got kids, it is just so much more to have to manage all of our stuff all of the time. And I kind of think that maintaining the stuff in our home, it can almost feel like when we're eating healthy or trying to get our health under control. You need things in your home, just like you need food to nourish your body and to survive, but it totally is about balance. And just like you wouldn't want to overeat and feel weighed down, having too much stuff, it just makes our home feel overwhelming and cluttered. And it's just like this, like cleaning out this bathroom, it just is like, oh, like the weight off is incredible. And it's not about getting rid of everything. When I talk about simplifying things, it's about making life easier. It's about curating the important things, what serves you. And it's just like making the mindful choices when we eat. And too much clutter, it's just like too much unhealthy food. It leaves us feeling sluggish and mentally drained and stuck. That truly is exactly how clutter can make us feel, which ultimately clutter to me is just mess. It's too much stuff. But when you clear out the excess and then we focus on keeping only what we really use and what we love, and, you know, of course, what we need. I often overlook that as I forget to say, yes, like we do need to have certain things. And I've talked about, you know, we have to have like a screwdriver and a hammer and our taxes and whatnot. But once we do that, your home and your mind can just breathe again. And that it's the same as healthy eating. Honestly, it just is. And even just decluttering in this bathroom felt so good to even just go through these drawers here. And in here, it's funny because I've got lipstick, yet there are cat brushes, there's scissors for hair, which is actually for like cutting mats off of our medium hair cat, deodorant for teenagers, gloves for when there's a feral kitten. It's just a real mishmash. So it really felt good to go through this room. And I honestly wasn't even expecting to come across as much stuff, even like bug spray, all of the things, scissors that I was like, you know what? They don't even go in here. Old toilet paper rolls because we have to hide it from the kittens. Now, I do have a hot air vent that need to be cleaned because it's gross. The kittens make things gross, but it feels so good when I was done in there. And then another really busy room in the house, because remember, we're doing busy rooms, is the laundry room. I mean, if there's ever a room that is so busy, it's the laundry room. And if you're wondering, like when I'm going through all of this, how to decide what to keep, my whole system is down below in my ebook. It's minimalisthome.ca/ebook. Or if you're someone who thrives with accountability and wants that next level of support, I just opened up the waitlist for my one-on-one decluttering intensives, which the people who have done it have absolutely loved because it is 5 days of decluttering together, but we can break up the days into like once a week or whatever works for you. And yes, we roll up our sleeves and we get it done. And then you also have 2 strategy calls, one at the beginning, one at the end. And my clients, they love it. They say the social accountability feels so good. They just declutter for the day. We communicate on Marco Polo, like a video app, and just they say, I'm going to work on this bookshelf, and then they do it and they send me pictures along the way, or they ask me questions and they love it. So I'm only going to open up 5 spots for this upcoming round. So if this sounds like something you want, just go ahead and join the wait list. And you can, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. But let's get back to this laundry room, which feels so good. It's not that bad, but I don't know about you, but family tends to pile things up, and it felt good to just like do a load of just washing all the random stuff that was sitting there. And then later I just was like, okay, pick whatever's yours out. And it just felt so good. Cleaning up these canisters, which I love. I've got soap and baking soda, washing soda, all of the things, wiping up the dust, and just really making the space so much fresher, because then we can just place the laundry baskets up top there. I do need to fix that sign, but right now I am focused on decluttering and it feels good. The best part about cleaning these areas that are just so used to make everything flow better is that everything flows better. We actually, once there's like that habit in there, we can relax. I want you to know though, this Clear It Out challenge is something you can do. You can jump in at any time. I have some YouTube friends doing it too. So click on the playlist, which I will link below. One of the first areas I tackled, actually, I've tackled it in September, but it was my garage. Talk about an area where it is utility. This is a room that it's living basically. And click out this video to see it, because I dove in. I did so much. And my husband too. I'm so happy. Stay tidy and mighty. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.